Yes, still out here in sunny Mallorca, loving life. I tell you, it's really lovely out here. So I'm sorry, I'm going to stop rubbing it in soon, but it is. It's been really lovely so far. Obviously, we've got the news now. Guilherme's come over from to West Ham, which is first major signing of the summer. Delighted to see that. We understand there's going to be a fair few more. In fact, we're saying a minimum of 6. But I'll be actually understand it's going to probably like to be around about 8 signings. This is a really exciting time for the club. It's always, let's be honest, bringing new players into a football club is an exciting time for whoever you are. But it's the fact we've got the new manager, new setup, and you've got this feeling now that with Steidten and Lopetegui, there's a real understanding here of what we want to do. And it just gives us a little bit of belief, that West Ham's going in the right direction, and a little bit of hope for the seasons ahead. I don't know, as you can probably tell, I'm quite excited. But regarding players, we've got loads of videos coming up, of course, about players coming in. So we've got linked to a lot, and I've got a big transfer update coming. X has been providing a fair few names now that are looking more concrete. We've got Jacob Greaves being one from Hull. I think is a top target in terms of a centre back. But the reason I mention him is because of the centre back pairing that we've got existing, which is our main centre-back pairing, which is Kurt Zouma, of course, and Nayef Aguerd. We understand both are going to be leaving the club at this summer, and I think Zouma's a big one, of course, being our captain, but we don't think he's got a future now at West Ham. But a certain to leave, basically, is Nayef Aguerd. I've been really disappointed with him. I've got to be honest. I had real high hopes for Aguerd when he signed. I thought he looked decent. He's very, as I say, highly rated. We spent a lot of money on him, 30 million quid. But I think he's been disappointing. I think as well he's. It feels like he's not wanted to be here actually for quite some time. He's not looked right mentally, which is. I think when you look at the David Moyes era, someone's actually mentioned to me in this video. Can we stop going on about David Moyes? It's hard to do so, isn't it? At the moment, he's only just left the club, so it's difficult. And but it's true. David Moyes, he was a top target for him. He made it very clear he was after him for years. And you've got to admit that these are things that went against him as well, not just only his playing style and stuff, but bringing players in and spending a lot of money and saying that this is the man for us. Calvin Phillips being another, who was a disaster, as we know. But Nayef Aguerd, a lot of money we've forked out on him. He was on a big contract and he's going to be leaving. Atletico Madrid, we understand, are the front runners at the moment to take him. As I say, with Aguerd, right, I always felt that if you remember when he got injured in that pre-season, I think it was against Rangers, and he did his ankle. He made a mistake in that injury. He lost the ball, tried to recover it, and then in doing so, he turned his ankle and then needed an operation due to the damage, the ligament damage he sustained for that challenge. I think that sort of sums him up as a player. He was sort of like a walking mistake. Do you know what I mean? He always had errors in him. I think he's one of those players that if he was in a team like a Man City, or like an Arsenal, a team that keep the ball, don't really have to defend for 85 minutes of a game, he'd probably do very well. But with West Ham and the way we played under Moyes, and the fact we used to defend for the vast majority of games and try to nick results, I just didn't suit him. It didn't suit him, and he just never came across very happy at the club. So yeah, we understand that Atletico Madrid are the most likely destination for him. We just got to try and recoup as much as we can what we spent on him. I'd be surprised if we get 30 million quid for him. In fact, I imagine we're probably going to get closer to 20 than we are 30. So it's a big loss for West Ham actually. But Kurt Zouma is the big one. I have reported on this before. I've talked about it previously that West Ham are going to be changing captain. But from the update we've had from XWHU employee on Patreon, link below by the way if you're not a Patreon member, it's fantastic content on there, and you get obviously exclusive updates from X in regards to this summer transfer window, and it's going to be bloody busy, let's be honest. We are looking at a lot of signings. Zouma's likely to go, they don't want to keep him, so West Ham are going to try and offload him now. I did talk about this in the previous video, and people were saying we're not going to be able to sell him. Do you know what? I don't think that's a bad view to have. I don't think you could be wrong, because it's going to be hard to sell him. He is an injury-prone player. I mean, how's he going to pass a medical? No one. He doesn't look like he can bloody walk, let alone run. So I mean, it's going to be difficult. But West Ham are going through big changes this summer, big changes, and the defence is going to be a huge one. We're going to have a whole new centre-back pairing, a new captain, who I'm not quite sure at the moment is going to be. I did talk as well about James Ward-Prowse is also likely to be out of the manager's thinking for this season. Could well be sold as well, along with Thomas Souček. These are players. I mean, I don't foresee us selling the whole side, of course, and trying to change everybody, because it's going to be too much of an upheaval. We've got to try and keep some consistency. And to be honest with you, I know some fans are a little bit against him, Ward-Prowse, and said weren't being overly impressed with him. I actually thought he had a pretty decent season for West Ham, considering the fact it was his first one since moving from Southampton. But it's what Lopetegui wants, isn't it? Does he fit into the style of football that he wants to play? We know that it's going to be possession-based. Is that going to suit Ward-Prowse? I just don't know. So, yeah, it looks like that we're going to be in for a huge changes, especially, as I say, at the back line. Aguerd certain to leave, as I say, Atletico Madrid the most likely, and Zouma, our captain, well, it's looking like his days are numbered at West Ham.